Hey guys, what's up? Today in the Brick Lab, we're going back to 2019. So rumor has it that we'll be getting some Avengers Endgame sets, and rumor has it even stronger that those will be revealed pretty soon. So I thought it'd be fun to go back and take a look at one of the Avengers Endgame set modifications that I made back in 2019, and never really got around to showing you guys. So here we have the updated Avengers headquarters. So this is a modification that I haven't touched in about 1.5, 2 years, so yeah, other than to dust it off for this video, obviously. So yeah, taking a look at this one should be fun. It'll be a new experience for both of us. Basically, the Avengers headquarters I was never really a big fan of. The whole build just looked entirely juniorized, so I thought it'd be fun to kind of modify it around a bit. And basically, I turned it into one giant taller building. Is it more accurate? Probably not. Do I care? Also no. Rumor is we're going to be getting another one of these sets that is more accurate, so this one really doesn't matter. So basically what I did was I took the center section of the Avengers headquarters and basically just threw it on top of the garage build, and of course modified the garage build and the front here so that it looked more like a building. And there is one quick detail on the front here that I would like to point out before we move to our building tour, and that is if you pull off this 1x2 tile here, you can actually stick this 6x6 tile here, which if you built the set using the instructions should have a giant Avengers symbol sticker here, and then you could probably just remove the little one on top. I guess we could quick Photoshop on the Avengers sticker if you want to see what that would look like. But all that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the build. Now you'll notice that I put in a set of double doors in the bottom here, and those open up to reveal a Jeep. Well, yeah, because you see what I did here was I actually just left this lower section here as the main floor of the garage because I really didn't have anything else to put in the bottom section here, and it seemed like a good idea at the time. Now, as you'll notice, one of the pieces that I did swap out was the radar dish. I removed the transparent orange one in favor of just a plain gray one. It looks a lot less junior-y to me. I also removed that ridiculous guardrail type thing here that Legos thought was a good idea to put on the front. I mean, I'm sure it has its purpose, but those things just look so junior-y to me, so yeah, not a fan of that. And of course, we do have the opening garage door here on the side, where you can remove the Jeep. And the Jeep is the same one that is from my original video. I kind of slimmed it down a little bit, and it kind of rides a little bit higher, has a little more ground clearance, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but there you go. You can see basically I ended up just removing that wall that I ended up putting in the main build, and as much as possible I tried to use parts that were already in the set, although as you can see I kind of, moved away from that a little bit to add in a little additional weaponry here and maybe here. I don't remember if this was included or not. It's been a couple years at this point, but yeah, basically this was just a fun little garage to park the vehicle, and I figured I really wasn't going to do much with the ground floor anyway, so may as well just leave the garage part intact, right? And what I also did was put a little buffer piece here at the back so that when you have the Jeep inside and the garage door is closed and you're moving this thing around, the Jeep isn't going to go flying out on you. So yeah, you can see if we tilt this to the back here, the Jeep's going to hit that and it's not going to fall out. And moving up a little, we can see here's a shield agent hard at work making sure the system's defenses are all up and operational. The original Avengers headquarters set seemed kind of empty to me. It kind of seemed weird to have all the heroes and no personnel, which as it turns out was kind of accurate but still felt weird. And since I had a bunch of these shield agents from a couple of those shield agent versus Carnage sets from a couple years ago, I ended up just throwing a couple of them in here. Obviously there was one downstairs also driving the Jeep. It seemed more realistic to have one of those guys driving the Jeep instead of Nebula. So we also have a little green ninja minifigure on top of the counter here, and also the little Ant-Man figure from the event that actually came in the set. He's kind of tucked in there, I guess, just in case Scott needs to transform. And then to the side here we have this blender thing, which I think actually came from the Iron Man Armory set, and a mug, which also same, I guess. And then to the side here you can see we have the little laser bars that are defending that Infinity Gauntlet area, which is still removable. And you'll notice the Infinity Gauntlet is missing. I actually made a custom version of that, which you may remember from my previous video. I think I also mentioned it in that Thanos Brickheads video, so if you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description or something. So yeah, you can defend a sort of version of the gauntlet, if not the actual gauntlet. And moving up to the final floor, we can see this one's pretty interesting, especially character design-wise. This was some sort of custom version of Captain America that I threw up there for some reason that I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure why I made him in the first place. Alright, there we go. I'd kind of forgotten that I'd stolen those holographic projector things for my Scott's Garage build from early last year, so I thought it'd be better to kind of put those in place. Looking at the placement now, though, I'm not entirely happy with them. It probably would have been better to maybe squish them in towards the center. That would probably look a whole lot better, but, this mod is done and I'm really not going to change it at this point. And you can see Scott is just chilling over here on the side in the elevator. And one thing I did change on that was to add in this 1x2 slope here to basically lock the elevator in place, because it does kind of spin a little bit freely, and that way your minifigures don't go catapulting out into the abyss here. And the reason why I just left the elevator in place was that a lot of the Avengers fly, like Iron Man and whatnot, so it made kind of sense to me to have like this sort of entrance here for the ones who could fly. I guess obviously Scott would not be the best candidate to stand there. Maybe an Iron Man figure would probably look a little bit better. Otherwise, there's not too much to say to this floor. I mean, obviously I left that sticker in place with the Outrider minifigure, and of course I moved that computer, which was down on the lower level, up to this upper level, and also put in a weapon rack. And of course I left the table in place, since it has one of my favorite play features of the set, and that is a couple of hidden weapons here. I always love when LEGO's able to do that with sets, and I really wish they do it more often, because it just kind of adds a whole lot more play value to it. Like, if the Avengers are ever ambushed, well, bam, they're covered. Looking back at it, obviously this table is super inaccurate. It's probably supposed to represent the portal thing that the Avengers use to travel back in time. So, I guess, you know, subtle move on LEGO's part if that was the intention. Last up is the roof, and honestly, I didn't make any major changes to that, so I'm not sure if it's even worth taking a look, but we still have the little spring-loaded shooter launcher up here and a couple of the other decorations. Nothing too fancy on that end. Alright, so that brings us to our final thoughts section, and final thoughts are that, yeah, I mean, this build was pretty good for the time, but now it's time to revert it back to its original form. And I know that one of the questions that I'm going to be getting is, will I do a build tutorial on it? And the answer is no. I don't really like doing building tutorials for buildings because they're just too complex, there are too many parts, and it takes way too much time. And if you want to build it, it's honestly not too terribly difficult. Basically, what you need to do is just take these two pillars, which are on the main entrance of the garage in the main build, swap them over to the side, build up the walls basically like I have here, and then take the main section of the build and plop it on top. It's really not more complicated than that, and honestly, just think of it as a giant puzzle, because a majority of the pieces that I used actually do come in this set, other than maybe some weapons here and there, and maybe some color swaps. As far as this build goes, I was happy with it at the time, but looking at it now, and obviously since we're getting a new version of it, I really doubt that I'll be keeping it. I'll probably be swapping it back to its original form soon. But honestly, I'm super excited to see some of the new endgame sets, because they do look pretty cool from what we've seen so far. I mean, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little brief foray into the past, and hopefully we'll be getting some new, fresher builds for you pretty soon. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today, so don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.